In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 things which business coaches usually tell their clients they need to do in order to be successful, which are either outdated, simply untrue, or lack the necessary context in order for them to be useful. And stick around till the end of the video where I give you the bonus lie, which irritates me the most. Let's do it. Number 1, your business coach has probably told you that you need to be an expert in the thing that you want to start a business in. Now, the reason why this is wholly untrue is because of some of the experiences that I've had and very recently seen in my 15-year-old daughter. Now, she is really into all things beauty related. She's been doing nails, makeup, and more recently, she's been doing lashes. Now, she hasn't done mine yet, but apparently, according to her aunts and friends and other women who have got their lashes done by her, and that actually not just women, there have been some boys who've had their lashes done too, she is really, really good. She just seems to have a flair for doing lashes, and she's got what seems to be a steady hand and a good eye, and some innovative ways in which she can take cheap lashes and make them look really fancy and expensive. Now, if you rely on internet wisdom, which will tell you that you need to have 10,000 hours on a particular discipline in order to be an expert, trust me, my daughter hasn't had 10,000 hours, probably more like 20 hours, I would imagine, watching YouTube videos, practicing on herself and her friends, and she has become very good. Now, is she an expert? No, but you do not need to be an expert in order to start a business, because my daughter is doing this business really quite successfully, and she has just become good enough in order to deliver the service. Over time, no doubt she'll become better, but she is good enough for family and friends and others to want to pay her for the service and be very happy with it. If I look at my own experience, I run a kids education business, #Ultra Education, see the link in the description below, and I have no prior experience in running a business for kids or in running an education related business. The reason why the business has been successful is because I was passionate about the problem that I wanted to solve, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Further too, if you look at some of the most successful businesses in the last 10 or 20 years, the founders have had no prior experience in that particular industry. If you look at Airbnb, the founders had no prior experience in a hotelier related business. If you look at Jeff Bezos, he had no prior experience in e-commerce, yet both of those businesses we know are now household names. One of the world's most renowned entrepreneurs, Elon Musk, had no prior experience in the car business, but look at Tesla, but look at what he's been able to achieve by simply caring about a problem that no one else really led into, developing a solution which was world class, and the rest is now history. The second lie your business coach is probably telling you is that you need to be a good speaker. Once again, using Elon Musk as Elon Musk bloody hell. Once again, using Elon Musk as an example, he is not a great orator by any means. If you watch him in interviews and his talks, he's doing all the classic things which trained speakers tell you not to do. He is umming and ahhing and pausing and looking down to the floor and seems like he's not quite sure what he's saying. He's processing his thoughts as he is speaking them, and yet he is, again, one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. Now, dare I say it, if you communicate too well, this could be a disadvantage. When I was growing up, there was this idea oh, smoker's cough. I'm kidding. In the UK, we have this idea of the car salesman or the window salesman whose communication skills are so good they almost feel manipulative, and you're afraid to engage in a conversation with them because you know you're going to part with your money. Now, in some environments, yes, that's a positive, but for lots of individuals who just don't like to be sold to or to feel like they're being coerced, it will red flag in an abiding city if you are too slick with your communication, because it suggests that your ability to communicate in a subtle manipulative way is covering up something else that is lacking in the product or service that you are selling. Ultimately, if people are buying from you, they want honesty, truth, and transparency. And if what you're offering looks too slick, it can sometimes give off the wrong impression. Now, I'm not saying that your ability to communicate well is not important in business. It absolutely is. However, people want to feel more connected to your message than seeing somebody who is the best orator in the world. In the political sphere, yes, this is more important. In business, they really value people who want to buy from you an emotional connection. They also value the content of your message and your story more than your ability to communicate it in the most professional way possible. The third lie your business coach is probably telling you is that you need a team. Statistically, we now know that most founding teams fail because of breakups. In 2023, we now know that the number one cause of startup failure are founding team breakups. That teams get together right at the beginning, they either don't mesh, there are conflicts, there are differences in expectation, in working or communication styles, and they fall out. Nothing wrong with the actual idea, nothing wrong with the market, but the founding team themselves simply cannot gel for long enough to make a success of the company, which is simply a group of people. A friend of mine recently said that they wanted to now scale their business and onboard a team, but they recognized that they didn't necessarily have the leadership skills, because when you bring people on board, they will require you to lead them. They will require you to provide them with vision, direction, guidance, and motivation. And if you as an individual don't have that quality, then you can lose the team, or at best not get the most out of them. So my suggestion is to prove the model that you're working on. If you are selling a product or a service, do it in a really small way and prove that you can sell it to people on a consistent basis, even if it's a version of that product or service, so you can demonstrate that you can solve that problem, fulfill that need, and get some revenue for it. And then you can start building out a team, because you're building it on a strong commercial foundation. Or the other reason why you should onboard a team is if there are essential skills which you require in that business that you simply cannot attain in a short space of time, or it's just not your thing. For example, if you need to develop an app and you simply just don't have the skill sets for coding, you have no inclination to go and learn coding, then you will need to onboard somebody to be able to do that. But in that way, you can simply hire someone, or you can bring them on a project basis. You can talk about your business in terms of it being a pilot, a project, an initiative, something which might have a start and stop, some kind of clause which says, look, if this thing isn't working out, then we'll part ways as friends, or that you're just experimenting with an idea. So it gives it a level of expectation that doesn't overwhelm everybody or give people a sense that we are going to be this super tight-knit team that is going to take it to the moon, but actually it doesn't work out that well. So it lowers the expectation on what's required of the team so that they can get on with their work within that measured time frame and not think about it being a super serious company until you've proven the model. The fourth lie that your business coach is probably telling you is that you need a really extensive business plan. Now, in my experience, particularly over the last 5 to 10 years, pitch decks, and we're talking 7 to 15 slide pitch decks, have replaced business plans. The people that you want to read your business plan could be partners, be they team, commercial partners, they might be investors, simply don't have the time to read 20-page business plans. They would rather digest a pitch deck which gives them visuals, which gives them charts and graphs and other ways to digest the information, and bullets to summarize what you're going to do in the business from start to finish in a way that they can consume within a 5 or 10 minute period. I remember meeting an investor for one of my earlier businesses, and we put together this amazing 20-page business plan, and it had our financials at the back. So we sat down with him in this swanky place in central London, and he literally turned the business plan all the way to the back and just looked at the financials. And I thought to myself, we've labored over the narrative of this plan, and you've just fast forwarded in my mind to the back, to the financials. But he said that by looking at the financials, he could learn everything he needed to know about our intentions around the business and how the business would work and what it would do simply by looking at the numbers. And that taught me a valuable lesson, because essentially what he was saying is you could almost write anything. Words are really subjective. There's a lot of things which are left in or kept out and are open to complete interpretation. But numbers can often tell a more useful story, because ultimately if somebody wants to invest or fund your business, or indeed if you want to project the success of your business and it's financially related, then those will be dictated by the numbers. The fifth lie that your business coach is probably telling you is that your business is all about profit. Now, the world has changed rapidly over the last 10 years. Consumers don't want to buy from businesses who don't have a social responsibility or a clear purpose. Companies don't want to contract organizations who can't communicate what their purpose is and how they look after their people and what their impact on the environment will be. People don't really want to work for an organization whose culture is simply all about the money, because it suggests that the decisions a company will make, especially around its employees, will be purely driven by
profit metrics.
People want to feel like the culture of your organization considers them in terms of their growth, in terms of their well-being, in terms of the enjoyment that they have at work, and actually taking their genuine skill sets and them being able to apply it in the workplace, which will help to give them individual purpose. And one of the things that we've been able to do at Ultra Education, which was completely by accident, but we now understand why it's come about, is the development of community. And community in our parents, young people, teachers, and stakeholders evangelizing our work, because they can see the impact that it has and sharing that good news with their own networks and their own communities, because it helps to take what is essentially a transactional brand and give it meaning to the people who benefit from it. And that is super, super strong. Now, the bonus lie that your business coach is probably telling you is to be a good all-rounder. Now, they may not use those words, but in your catch-ups with them, I bet they're asking you to talk about the sales, the marketing, the operations, the PR, the product development, and the social media and the finance, right? So it kind of stretches you pretty thin. And even for those of you who are good all-rounders, I've always said, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And the reason for that is because actually, if you are just an all-rounder, then it will be very difficult for you to take your business to the place it requires because of the nature of the competition in the market. Often the reason why businesses are successful is because they start off by having one really strong aspect of their business model. And that really strong aspect is worked on deliberately, and it helps to bring everything else with it. If you try and focus on being good at everything, you'll spread yourself too thin and you won't become world-class at any one thing. And if you never become world-class or just really, really good at one thing,
then your chances of failure are now a lot higher.
But what if the business that you're doing requires you to become really good at everything? Then what do you do? My suggestion is to look at fractional roles. So instead of bringing somebody on board or outsourcing your marketing, for example, at 5 days a week, you may do it for half a day a week. If you need somebody to help you look after the finances of the business, instead of bringing on a full-time financial director or accountant, you might bring them on a fractional basis. So they may only come in for a few hours a month, a few days a month. And in that way, you can control your costs, but still get some movement on those areas of the business that you need to be really good at. Now, if you bring on somebody who is really, really good at marketing, at finance, at HR, at PR, whatever it might be, they will be able to do in one day what will take you 5 or even 10 days a month to do. I would also suggest looking at ways in which you can automate systems and processes in your business so that you need less human resources. Platforms like Zapier will help to connect you to hundreds, if not thousands of different tools to help automate and manage workflow so that you don't have to. Lastly, tools like ChatGPT can help to do so much heavy lifting, particularly when it comes to the thinking around proposals, social media tweets, copywriting, plans and strategies, that you'd be crazy not to use it. So what have I missed? Are you a business coach that violently disagrees with me? Do you think that some of the things that I've said are still essential today? Let's have a chat about it in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, do share it with somebody, and I'll catch you next time. Ultra and out.